My name is Chloe Setter. I work for an organisation called ECPAT UK, which is a children's charity based in London. We work across the UK on policy and legislation. We produce research on the issue of child trafficking, child exploitation. We train frontline professionals around identifying trafficking, and we work with young people who've been trafficked to the UK. There's such little awareness even now about the issue of children being trafficked. A lot of people think it just doesn't happen in this day and age, but actually it is happening, and it's happening more and more. It's increasing each year. But unfortunately a lot of frontline professionals like social workers, police, immigration staff aren't aware of the indicators and aren't aware of how to identify it, and when they do identify it they don't always know how to respond effectively. There are many links between missing children and trafficking, and sometimes the fact that a child goes missing is an indicator that they have been trafficked, and sometimes it's one of the first indicators that we really have. But we need to get a lot better at understanding the reasons why trafficked children go missing, and a lot better at the prevention techniques to stop this from happening. We know that traffickers sometimes will come and pick up children from reception centres or their foster care placements and almost sort of abduct them, but equally we know that because trafficking is such a form of control, that we know the children will actually seemingly voluntarily return to their trafficking situation and to their traffickers, because that's what they've been groomed to do, that's what they've been told they have to do. So a lot of it is to do with trying to understand the mentality of the young people and why they feel the need to do this, and to try and break the control that the trafficker has over that young person. A lot of that is to do with education, a lot of that is to do with training of professionals working with the children, and also just understanding what works in terms of prevention. And obviously that will be different for every child. It will have a different approach. One of the issues we see, which is a real problem, is data collection. So we don't actually have very good data collection in the UK, for example, around how many children are trafficked, and even worse, how many of them go missing. So it's quite hard to work with a problem where you don't know the true scale of it. But we see many cases, unfortunately, where children are trafficked to the UK and then go missing from care, usually within 48 hours. We have many issues around Vietnamese young people, for example, being trafficked. They might be identified when they arrive in the country, if they're smuggled in on a lorry, for example. But then once they get put into the care system, within 48 hours they will climb out of a window and they will be gone. And usually we never find them again. We don't know what happens to them, but we presume that they have been trafficked and they are being exploited somewhere else. We believe one of the most important things that can be done for children who are trafficked is peer support. So that's making sure that they're not isolated by ensuring they have social interaction with other young people, and that could be other young people who've been through a similar situation. That's helpful, but not just that. Just making sure they're in school and they have friends and they can speak English, and building resilience of the young person to make safe choices, because we can only do so much in terms of prevention. We can't literally lock them up and keep them safe, so we have to give them the tools that they need to equip themselves to make safe, informed decisions, and give them the tools that if they do disappear and they do go back to their traffickers, that they know how to escape from that situation, they know how to get back in touch with the authorities. But we really find, we run youth groups in London, for example, for young people who've been trafficked, and we really find that having a sort of peer support model of other young people is really effective, because they are understanding that other people have been through this situation, and they make friends and they feel less isolated, and we help them learn skills like to build their confidence, to speak out for themselves, to advocate for their rights, and this is a really powerful tool.